The lack of diversity on screen is the lack of people of different color, different ethnics, and also women. The biggest movie of the last 10 years show us a big lack of different representation around the world. There is not a lot of people of color in movies and women. Sometimes racism is the main point of a movie. For example, the movie Gran Torino by Clint Eastwood. Clint Eastwood played the role of an old man who is racist because of his past, because he has kept some trouble about the Vietnam War, and he learned how to fight it by living by those people and to protect them and to fight his cliché about them.
Besides Gran Torino, there are other movies which talk about racism, like The Help, which is about an aspiring author during the civil rights movement of the 1960s who decides to write a book detailing the African American maid's point of view on the white families for which they work and the hardships they go through on a daily basis. 12 Years a Slave, which is about Solomon Northup, a free black man from upstate New York who is abducted and sold into slavery. The Butler, which is about Cecil Gaines, who served 8 presidents during his tenure as a butler at the White House, the Civil Rights Movement, Vietnam, and all the major events which affected this man's life, family, and American society. Jungle Unchained, which is about a free slave who sets out to rescue his wife from a brutal Mississippi plantation owner with the help of a German bounty hunter. The Green Mile, which is about the lives of guards on death row which are affected by one of their charges, a black man accused of child murder and rape, yet who has a mysterious gift. Selma, which is about a chronicle of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.'s campaign to secure equal voting rights via an epic march from Selma to Montgomery, Alabama in 1965. The Color Purple, which is about a black Southern woman who struggles to find her identity after suffering abuse from her father and others over 4 decades. And Get Out, which is about when a young African American meets with his white girlfriend's parents for a weekend in a secluded state in the woods, and what happens when things turn nightmarish. Discrimination happens behind the screen as well, which is the case of Chloe Bennett. She is Chinese American, meaning she's of a mixed ethnicity, and because of that, casting directors have often said to her, "You're not white enough," or "You're not Asian enough." And that is because casting directors are mostly looking for stereotypical roles, to be able to make fun of other races. And while I get that some comedies work because of said roles, I don't think that all roles must be like that. I think that there has to be opportunities for everyone, no matter what their race is. Another example is Jessica Alba. She's been told that she's not Caucasian enough to play white roles, or Hispanic enough to play Latino roles. Since casting directors couldn't figure out her ethnicity, she's always been called exotic. A third and final example is Scarlett Johansson. She's been criticized because she was cast in a Japanese role in Ghost in the Shell. Some people think it's because it will draw more people in seats to see the movie because of a recognizable face. Some think that this is limiting opportunities for Asian people on big roles in movies. And Japanese people actually like the fact that it's not one of them playing the role because they appreciate people who are different than them. But while people criticize, they don't do the needed research to do so in full because this casting is explained by the fact that the main character in the world of the film is a shell, meaning a cyborg, with a human brain, meaning that what lies on the outside doesn't matter. The character wasn't designed to be specifically Japanese because she's meant to be ambiguous, and that any race would fit in with the character. The 2016 remake of Ghostbusters received a lot of criticism because the main protagonists were 4 women instead of men like in the original. I don't mean to say that there aren't any problems with this movie, it's just that it's wrong to criticize women for taking main roles. The Avengers only had 1 female in their group of superheroes, and that's just not enough.
I would put rape right at the top of the chief offenses, and assault against women, because it's so insanely overused and insulting how much it's overused in movies as a plot device, a woman in peril.
Greatest thing to not be a damsel in distress in an action movie.
I got this. You just don't fall off and don't get eaten.
But I want to help!
No!
Why not?
Because I don't trust your judgment.
Whoa!
Whoa! Whoa!
Christopher! Stop!
You almost set me on fire!
But I didn't!
It is being called the Frozen effect. Are movies like the Disney smash hit about an ice queen and her sister empowering girls by turning our men into fools and villains?
We want to empower women, right? And that's good. We absolutely want to do that. But we don't have to empower women at the cost of tearing down men.
It would be nice for Hollywood to have more male figures in those kind of movies.
Strong male
As heroes.
figures. Absolutely.
After the disaster that was Catwoman in 2004 and Elektra in 2005, we finally got a great superhero, female-led film. Not only is Wonder Woman one of the greatest superhero films of all time, but it is one of many films to come with a message towards gender equality, not women over men, or vice versa. The biggest female superhero movie to be released in theaters, directed by a woman and starring an Israeli mother of 2 with a greatly diverse cast. It is the example that is inspiring people from all around the world. Not only women, but everyone, specifically female directors, which compose only 28% of all directors working today. So many women have been waiting to be able to see themselves on screen represented in the right way, not the girlfriends or the mom or the prostitute, but a real and complex human being with all sorts of personality traits. Wonder Woman is the solution to breaking the rules of superhero female-led films.
Stereotype is a widely held but fixed image or idea of particular type of person. We can usually found it in a comedy to make a really big profit. But it leads us to ignore people around us because what we see in the television. They make a stereotype as a joke. For example, on a horror movie, black people have to die first. And blonde girls are dumb, Chinese people has to be smart at juggling numbers, and so on.
In the movie Rush Hour, there are two main characters. The first one is Jackie Chan, and there is a lot of stereotype on it because he loves like sushi, eating sushi, is good at kung fu, and the second character is a black man, which is Chris Tucker, and he's seen as dumb in this movie.
Another stereotypical role is the blonde and dumb girl, like Anna Faris's role in The Bunny House. And the girls from Mean Girls.
So fetch. What is fetch? Oh, it's like slang from England. So if you're from Africa, why are you white? Oh my god, Karen, you can't just ask people why they're white. Could you give us some privacy for like 1 second? Yeah, sure.
And the stereotypical rich blonde girl played by Alicia Silverstone in Clueless.
Creatures that jump and slobber all over you. Ew! Get off of me! Ugh, as if!
At last, but not least, is Speedy Gonzalez, the stereotypical Mexican restaurant owner.
We can also see the lack of diversity on the awards that are worldwide, for example the Emmys or the Oscar.
Riz Ahmed, or we call Riz Meek, is a British Pakistani actor, rapper, and activist. He won an Emmy Award out of 2 nominations, and he's the first Muslim guy to win an Emmy.
For example, in the 2017 edition of the Emmys Award, Lena Waithe was the first gay black lady to win an Emmys Award. She celebrated that by making a speech that tells people that even if she is gay or she is black, she is still a human like everyone in this world.
My LGBTQIA family, I see each and every one of you. The things that make us different, those are our superpowers. Every day when you walk out the door, put on your imaginary cape and go out there and conquer the world, because the world would not be as beautiful as it is if we weren't in it. And for everybody out there that showed us so much love for this episode, thank you for embracing a little Indian boy from South Carolina and a little queer black girl from the south side of Chicago. We appreciate it more than you could ever know. Thank you, Academy, for this.
Viola Davis became the first African-American female to win the Primetime Emmy Award for Outstanding Lead Actress in a Drama Series. And it is important to note that not one woman has won an Academy Award for directing a film at the Oscars.
In my mind, I see a line. And over that line, I see green fields and lovely flowers and beautiful white women with their arms stretched out to me over that line. But I can't seem to get there no how. I can't seem to get over that line. That was Harriet Tubman in the 1800s. And let me tell you something. The only thing that separates women of color from anyone else is opportunity. You cannot win an Emmy for roles that are simply not there. So here's to all the writers, the awesome people that are Ben Sherwood, Paul Lee, Peter Nowak, Shonda Rhimes, people who have redefined what it means to be beautiful, to be sexy, to be a leading woman, to be black. And to the Taraji P. Hensons, the Kerry Washingtons, the Halle Berrys, the Nicole Beharies, the Megan Goods, to Gabrielle Union, thank you for taking us over that line. Thank you for the Television Academy. Thank you.
Disability is an impairment that may be cognitive, development, intellectual, mental, physical, sensory, or combination of those. It substantially affects a person's life, activities, and may be present from birth or occur during a person's lifetime. But disability people, they have dreams to be an actor, to be a big star in Hollywood, but it's really rare to find an actor with disability issues on the screen. Producers say that it's really hard to work with disabilities people. Even for disabilities role, they never call a real disability people to play that role. For example, we can see it on a TV series Glee or a film The Fault in Our Stars or Theory of Everything. And the most shocking fact is 2% of those characters appear in animated movies that we can show it to our children how disabilities people are. Age is really matter to play a role in Hollywood. We can see a lot of movies use young and beautiful actresses to play a role. In the film Clouds of Maria, they used this issue to make a movie. In 2013, the British Film Institute reported that over 45s had become the largest section of the film market. A senior actress called Dame Helen Mirren said in 2010, "I've seen too many of brilliant colleges who work non-stop in their 20s, 30s, 40s only to find a complete desert in 50s. For example, American Next Top Model, they use age range to be a really young, beautiful model under 27, until 3 cycles Tyra Banks removed the age limit and become a super popular TV series.
There is an idea.
We have appearance issue in the Hollywood too, because producers usually looking for a perfect picture human being to play a role, not too fat, not too skinny, not too short, not too high, not too curly. For example, Kat Dennings once told by a casting director that she needed to change everything about herself, her teeth, her skin color is too pale, but now she's a big star in a TV series called Two Broke Girls. And also Meryl Streep, the Italian film producers, once says that, "Why do you bring these ugly things to me when she wanna cast for a King Kong movie?" Female directors or filmmakers are rare because the world demand them. They not be able to create a really good movie. But for example, Amy Schumer, she's a director, writer, actress at the same time on a movie called Trainwreck. Or Shonda Rhimes, producer of Grey Anatomy, Scandal, Private Practice, Princess Diaries 2. So, we cannot just see women as a role player but also directors or filmmaker because they are able to create a big thing. Patricia Arquette, the winner of Best Supporting Actress Oscar for Boyhood, once bring up unequal pay for equal work speech after she won a NASCAR. She quote, "In the US, women working full-time on average made 79 cents for every dollar men earned in 2015. It represents a gender pay gap of 21% according to the Institute for Women Policy Research."
Equal rights. It's our time to have wage equality once and for all, and equal rights for women in the United States of America.
Her push for wage equality.
Since 2000, when people actively use the internet, social media is one of the biggest sites that used by human race in the entire world. We use it every day to share our thoughts, our comments. But do you know that what we share in social media is really affecting someone's career, not to say the world of filmmaking? Twitter is one of social media. It's an online news where users post and interact with messages. Million people still actively tweeting every day using hashtag and make a topic as a trend. Back a couple years ago after the Oscar, after the big wins of The Revenant by Leonardo DiCaprio, after The Martian, after Mr. Robot, people in the Twitter society, they use Oscar so white as a hashtag to make a move to open the world's eye that Oscar always give their trophy to white people only. It shows us there is no diversity in the filmmaking. Another one is Instagram. It's a post-sharing application that used by 100 public figures. Sometimes they are promoting their new movie or music videos, or perhaps they just share their public private life. And people all around the world who use Instagram can also show their love and supports on the comment box. But not to mention that a lot of public figures got a hate mail or comments by users. Let's say for an example, young Chinese rapper called Chiga or white rapper called Eminem still get bad comments about white people cannot rap as good as the black rappers. These stereotype comments doesn't stop them to create things and keep their career in Hollywood. YouTube is the most biggest American video sharing websites where all of the amateur or even professional singers upload their music video to get a lot of attention from the society. But it's not always the sportive attention they get. A lot of LGBT musicians create and promoting LGBT issues on their video to get a lot of supportive people who will support them. But on their video, they get a lot of sarcasm and hateful comments about how disgusting their videos are, about how bad LGBT in the society that affect their children. For example, there's a lot of musicians that create a lot of videos about LGBT issues. For example, Troye Sivan, in his video Youth and Wild, he got a lot of bad comments about how bad being gay are. Or Hailey Kiyoko in Girls Like Girls, or even Katy Perry in her video I Kissed the Girl. They got a lot of bad comments about LGBT.
We need to change the content and make sure that everyone is equally represented and the stories that are being told are representative of all different types of people. TV, films, cinema, all of that binds us together, and it's not only used as a means of entertainment, but also as knowledge about different cultures, different times, and different concepts. That is why it is imperative that all cultures in the world gets to be rightfully represented in those mediums to reduce ignorance in society and expand each person's general knowledge. Although the movie industry has had a slow pace towards change, lately there's been an inclusion defining TV more and more when it comes to issues of creed, color, disability, sexual orientation, gender identity, police brutality, domestic violence, injustice of the justice system, among others. The content is actually changing to showcase more what society is really like nowadays. After all, we're all looking for connection. That's what humanity is all about.